This is a tour of the West Wing in sign language.
A young woman with dark hair, a blue dress.
My name is Leah Katz-Hernandez.
Outside the White House, she signs.
I'm the West Wing receptionist here at the White House. Since 1902, many world leaders and everyday Americans have entered through these doors. Let's go.
In fast motion, she strides along an oval driveway and opens a door under the presidential seal.
Welcome to the West Wing lobby. This is where I sit as I welcome visitors and guests of the President, the Chief of Staff, the Vice President, and other senior staff in the West Wing.
The lobby is richly appointed with sofas, armchairs, and paintings. Ms. Katz-Hernandez leads us to a wide outdoor walkway along the side of the White House at left and columns at right.
This area is called the West Colonnade. Flanked by the columns you see here, it's also called the 45-second commute. The President walks from the residence in the White House
at the end of the colonnade.
Across the colonnade.
She walks and motions to the right to where the colonnade turns.
To the Oval Office. Behind us is the Rose Garden.
Lush green trees, hedges, and flowering plants with blooms in white and pink. The limbs of a tree spread towards several steps that extend to a manicured area from a section of the colonnade near the Oval Office.
This is where important events are hosted, such as announcements from the President, bill signings, and it's also where the Thanksgiving turkeys are pardoned. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was a daily wheelchair user, which is the reason
she gestures toward the stone surface of the walkway leading to the doorway
we have this ramp
Ms. Katz-Hernandez used to enter the colonnade.
Today, the commute from the residence to the West Wing of the White House is accessible to all people with disabilities.
In fast motion, she zooms through hallways and outdoors again to a door to the west of the White House north portico.
We are now standing in the White House press briefing room.
In a rectangular room, blue seats set theater style.
It is named after James S. Brady, who became paralyzed while serving President Reagan. You may have noticed the unique shape of this room.
The seats face a podium, the American flag, and the White House seal.
The long rectangular space is the former site of a swimming pool built for President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who used to swim laps as a part of his physical therapy. Today, the White House press secretary uses this space to interact on a daily basis with members of the White House press corps.
Ms. Katz-Hernandez stands at the podium. Then she exits through a nearby door and zips past offices and along a ramped walkway to a rectangular room featuring a large oval table.
This room is named the Cabinet Room because this is where the President holds official meetings with his most senior appointed staff, known collectively, of course, as his cabinet. The room is decorated in a 1940s era design inspired by President Franklin D. Roosevelt's time. Looking around the table, can you tell which chair is reserved for the President?
At the center of one long side of the table.
It's easy to spot because it's the only chair that is slightly taller than the rest, so you can always tell where the President will sit.
A small plaque on the back reads, "The President, January 20th, 2009. Ms. Katz-Hernandez enters a square room with a rectangular table and a tall, wide credenza on one side."
This is the Roosevelt Room, formerly known as the Fish Room. At the time, it was decorated in a fish motif, including an actual aquarium. It was renamed to honor both Presidents Roosevelt, whose portraits hang on the walls behind me. Theodore Roosevelt, the president who built the West Wing,
over a mantel he is portrayed in uniform and mounted on a rearing horse,
and Franklin D. Roosevelt, who renovated it,
depicted at a table, looking up while holding a pen at a sheet of paper.
Standing here, we are just steps from the President's office.
She crosses a hallway and to an open doorway to the Oval Office.
Here we are at the Oval Office, the distinguished office of the President, with the President working here each day. I'm sure you can imagine what goes on inside.
Two sofas face each other, surrounded by walls decorated in gold and beige vertical stripes. Rich rust-colored curtains frame the President's desk. Behind it, the U.S. flag and a flag bearing the seal of the President. A portrait of George Washington in uniform hangs above a mantel. Busts of Martin Luther King Jr. and Abraham Lincoln on each side. The President's seal is emblazoned on the light-colored rug just in front of the President's desk.
Thank you for coming on this tour with me. I had a great time. Now I've got to get back to work.
She waves. A website address go.wh.gov/ada.